Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our meeting tonight. Of course, you were visiting the Constantine Village Council for our second meeting of the month. At this point, we would like to call the roll, please.
Piper. Hurricane.
Here.
Heather Zim.
Yes.
Heather G.
Yes.
Warren.
Yes.
King.
Yes.
Hewitt.
Yes.
Okay, all trustees are here. I call the meeting to order at 7 o'clock p.m. And now would you please stand and join me in saying the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, are there any additions, corrections to the agenda for tonight?
Motion we accept the agenda as presented.
I will second that.
Okay, motion by trustee Lawrence, supported by pro tem Paper, to approve the agenda as presented. Any discussion? All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Yes, those opposed say no. Motion carries. Next are the minutes from the regular meeting of 10/7/2024.
I'll make a motion we accept the regular meeting minutes of 10/7/2024 as presented.
I'll second.
Okay, motion by trustee Lawrence, supported by trustee Mathers, to accept the minutes of 10/7/2024 as presented. Any discussion, changes? All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Yes, those opposed say no. Okay, motion carries. And moving on, item 5, payment of the bills. We'll start, of course, on page 9. Total of the bills tonight, $473,453.34. 473,453.34. And note there's no F&B or Grand River bills this time. Any questions, comments?
I do have a couple, just a couple. The $900 for police and bandit break on bridge inspection, what was that for? Page 13.
We have to, and that requires that we have bridges, or one bridge, the other one belongs to the state, the bridge on Water Street, inspected. I'm not sure if it's every year or I think it's every other year.
Every other year.
And, police does that. It was John Moxie that did that.
Okay. And I see we didn't get a breakdown on the bills from Three Rivers. I didn't see it anyway. All I saw was a payment on it. Do you know if we got the breakdown? We usually get the monthly breakdown.
That's my bet. Jody gave them to me.
I thought I did, but I
Yeah,
don't have it.
obviously they're not in the packet, and I'm sorry. You have your choice. I can grab them real quick. It'll just take me a couple of minutes.
You wanna email it to me tomorrow or something?
Sure, I can do that.
Is that all right with everybody else?
I'll email it to the entire, I apologize.
That represents 2 payments too, so.
Right.
It's about right.
Yeah, I know, but I just like to check that.
Oh, yeah.
Understood.
The KLS underground for $27,000, I know that's the lead pipes, but are they finished now, so that is the total?
I'm sorry for that.
The underground, or the pipe, the lead pipe, 27,000?
I'm knocking on wood real hard here. Yes, it is finished. We still have two things to do, and that's restore driveways, asphalt driveways that were torn apart when they, the first one, when they had to fix the break, it was under the driveway. The second one, they had to take the driveway.
Oh, KLS under.
Oh, I'm sorry,
Lead pipe.
I'm sorry, I misunderstood you. It's not done, but it's that close. There's a little bit more they have to do with that. They have to inspect some pipe in basement. They also have to go back to the main and make sure that the pipe is okay, but for the houses themselves and businesses themselves, at the pit meter, they've all, maybe excepting 20 or 25 of them, they've all been completed.
Do we have any idea how many lead pipes there were?
Nada, no. There were none that they've located. There have been a few lead goosenecks, and that those also need to be replaced, but they haven't located a single lead pipe. They have located some that need to be re-inspected because they're, not gonna remember the term. Pipe that could have some lead in it, but at this moment, there's no reason to believe so.
So do we have to do a report on this to the state?
Yes, yes, that's Marcus is working on that. I'm not surprised, they didn't expect to find any, or at least very few lead pipes.
And on page 16, North American Pump Company for $27,396, cleaning well number 4. Where's that at?
Oh, well number 6,
Well number 4.
well number 4, I'm sorry, that's at the, is that at the one on Canaris?
That would be my guess, but I don't know for sure.
Okay, I think that's the one on Canaris, in the pump house on Canaris. That needed to be refurbished and cleaned, so.
And then on 17, Roberts Excavating for $24,692.50. There's 2 lines of contract services and then a pipeline repair. Where is that pipeline repair at?
That was, if I'm remembering correctly, that was in the 400 block of South Washington. When Surf was doing the work, boring holes, they hit that pipeline. It was one that we didn't even know existed. It was a capped line, but they hit it nevertheless, and it still had water in it, so it had to be.
And that's the one they're reimbursing us for? Surf?
Yes, yeah.
That's the $1,200 one.
Oh, what's the 23,000 one?
That's out on Gleason Road.
That must have been before the bypass? Or
Yes.
is-
How long is the bypass?
1,200 feet.
I was gonna say, I went out there and drove it, it doesn't look like it's very
Yeah,
long.
I know it doesn't.
It doesn't look very long.
And that could be overestimating it a little bit, but they ordered 1,200 feet for repair.
And we don't have to dig that up, that pipe stays there.
So far, no.
Okay,
No.
good,
The Eagle is aware of our plans. So.
okay.
I don't know.
Any more questions on the bills? No, I'll entertain a motion, again, it's 473, 453, 34.
I will make that motion that we pay the bills in 473, 453, 34 cents. Support.
Motion from trustee Pipers, supported by trustee Cartagena to pay the bills and the amounts stipulated. Call roll, please.
Hewitt,
Yes.
Dean,
Yes.
Lawrence,
Yes.
Mathers M,
Yes.
Mathers G,
Yes.
Piper,
Yes.
Cartagena.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Thank you. Next, we have public comment. As you read, I'm sure read the minutes, and those that were here last time, there was some discussion about meeting rules. That was passed during our meeting last time. I'd like to read some of the rules again, just so we know what the format is. All persons who wish to speak during public comment will be given that opportunity. I guess I should ask, does everybody have an agenda? If you don't want to hear me roll on, that's fine too. If you don't have an agenda, I should read it. Okay. No person will be allowed to speak more than once. Persons must be recognized by the chairperson before speaking. If physically able, all comments must be made from the podium. Comments must be directed to the chairperson. Comments must be made in a courteous manner, limited to 3 minutes, and that will be timed and enforced. Please refrain from side conversations that may disrupt or distract from any presentations or official village business. And that's during the meeting, of course. Persons disrupting the meeting will be asked to cease that behavior or leave the building. Public comment is designed for comments only, not questions, although the chairperson may grant an exception on a case basis. Public hearings are scheduled for myriad reasons, variance applications, ordinance amendments, zoning changes, etc. So the council, the ZBA, or the planning commission will frequently ask questions of the applicant. The applicant may not be bound by time limits, but audience members will still adhere to the 3-minute limit. No audience member may speak more than once. It was quite educational. There was people representing several different municipalities and government bodies here, and said that this is the way they all work, and some of them don't allow any participation, which amazed me. But anyhow, this is what we decided and voted on to try, in 3 minutes per person. Okay, that's it. Are there any public comments tonight? And if so, please feel free to go to the podium and.
You want? I'll go ahead. My name is Jason Prosper. I'm the White Pigeon Township Supervisor-elect, and I just wanted to come in and introduce myself. I know a few of you, Mark, I've talked to you a few times. I used to do the building trades. I taught the building trades in White Pigeon for 15 years. I own a construction company out of White Pigeon in the pool business. And throwing my hat in the ring for being a government official for a while. And like I said, I just wanted to introduce myself to everybody and, you know, try to build a working relationship with our nearby towns and people, because the way we get things done is everybody working together and doing that stuff instead of, you know, this town's doing this and all that. So like I said, I just want to introduce myself to you guys. The rest of our elect board is also here. I don't know if you guys are going to say anything or not, but it's Anita, Sheila, and Amy that are running on, that are elected as well for treasurer, trustee, and trustee. Yep. So, like I said, we just want to come in and say hi to everybody. And like I said, if we have any questions, you know, and we might be reaching out to you guys and you guys are any questions, we're very open and would like to work very closely with our neighboring communities and yeah. So that's my little spiel for tonight. What's that? No, White Pigeon Township.
Yeah, very much. And good luck to all 4 of you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Best way to navigate, excuse me. Good evening, Mark Vogue, 1035 South Washington Street. I am understanding of the new rules. However, I think it may be penny wise and pound foolish, but such is the way it is. I will abide by that, of course I will. I have no choice. I did, as a result of that, I decided what way will I be able to reach out to council members. I emailed 7 emails, 1 to each one of you as a group email. I received 4 responses. If I cannot speak to council members during the council meeting, I feel it's important that I be able to reach council members in other ways. I prefer email for 2 2 reasons. It's documented. If it's said on a phone conversation, it can be a he said, she said. Also, you all are professionals or busy people. I still am a teacher. My phone many times is inaccessible to me. So if I am to abide by these rules, I hope we can have professionalism at the trustee level. That deals with that. The other is, what is the status, and if you can give me a response, great. If not, that's fine, of the optic cables. No cables were laid at my house, and I've seen nothing happening in the village. There was the big rush of input, and now it appears dead. If there's a contact number that I could call, that'd be great. Or if you have information that I don't have, that'd be great.
We have cables in our house.
Was there internet?
Yeah, they put them all. Oh, there's cables. There's a box right across the street from my house, full of cables.
It's not working yet, correct?
No, but they ran them every
Yeah,
day.
okay.
Yes.
I did not get cables run. I see no cable boxes, nothing in the ground.
It's possible that they were working on South Washington the last I knew. It's possible they just haven't gotten to your place yet. But I can give you the contact information for the gentleman at SURF, or I can check into it and let you know.
That would be appreciated, thank you. And when, estimated time of service delivery.
That I don't know.
Well, they may be able to, well, that would be worth a phone call, either you or I.
Okay. Can
Thank
do.
you very much.
Good evening. I just wanted to address his concern. I got a phone call. I'm Louis Rosado. I'm the county commissioner representing White Pigeon, Constantine, and Montville. And I wanted to address your concern. I got a phone call from the village of White Pigeon asking for some assistance. Apparently, SURF is having some issues getting some permits. And so we're trying to work with them, trying to get them, moved through. I don't know what the problem is yet because the people from SURF haven't reached out to me personally. But there's some issues with some permits. So that could be the delay in your area. It has something to do with Dickinson Road, from my understanding. So
I can tell you this. When SURF applied for the license, I contacted our attorney, and she walked us through the process. So that probably helped to expedite it a little bit. And I can give you the name of the attorney that we work with. I don't know who White Pigeon works with.
right.
The village is Roxanne Sieber. I'm sorry to interrupt. The village White Pigeon is Roxanne Sieber.
Okay, yeah, our attorney is Bob Park.
Yeah, but who issues the actual permit to SURF?
The village,
The actual municipality does.
yes.
See, they couldn't even tell me that. I asked them, I
okay.
said, in order for me to help you, I need to know who I need to contact.
Okay.
And the person I talked to said,
I would be,
you know.
yeah, if you wanna give me a moment, I can email the information.
Okay,
Okay?
yep, that was it.
Let's see.
Todd Woody, Constantine, P.O. Box 226. I use that because a shotgun blasted the side of my car at one of my residents. I go to Meeks Mill. I like to frequent local businesses, and there seems to be 3 gentlemen there that know everything that I've never seen at these village council meetings. I'm being told that you're going to retire soon. And I'm wondering why we're not, for a replacement, doing a search company? Or are you gonna resign in the middle of a contract and handpick the way they do at the county?
I don't have specific plans yet for retirement.
Well, I'm sure that you can manage far enough ahead that we could hire a firm to replace you instead of handpicking and business as usual. Thank you. Got real quiet, thanks.
I'm here.
Rebecca Shank, 385 South Washington Street, right where all the loud stuff goes by. And 5 o'clock in the morning, the mail truck goes beep, beep, beep under my bedroom window. Because of what I walked out of the last meeting I attended and then the published report that was in the paper this week, I just, since it says I can't ask any questions, I don't know if anyone on this council has ever attended training on the Open Meetings Act of Michigan. I have twice, once at Western Michigan University under the direction of a former governor, and also at Glen Oaks here in St. Joseph County. So I am quite aware of the recommendations for setting up a public meeting. And also of note is one of the suggestions is that at the conclusion of the meeting, there should be a time of public comment without limit as to the timing. So that helps to remedy things that happen in meetings that could be of particular concern to the public. My other concern, which has been going on for some time, over 10 years probably, is who you think you represent. Do you represent just the people from your neighborhood? Or do you represent all the people of the village of Constantine? And who do you answer to? The people that elected you. The manager answers to you. He does what you assign under the election. I would like to say I always appreciate Ms. Piper's questions. She seems to be the only one who ever really asked a question about any of the reports. And that's of note. So anyway, it might be a good idea to just study this thing and know what your position really is on this council. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else like to address council tonight? Okay, seeing none, we'll close public comment. Is there any visitor in the audience that has a presentation for council tonight? It's usually professionals such as the police or something like that. Okay, seeing none, we'll move on. Items on the consent agenda, starting on page 21. Any questions from anyone?
I'll make a motion to accept the consent agendas as they are presented.
I will second that.
Okay, motion by trustee Lawrence, supported by trustee Piper to accept items on the consent agenda as presented. Any further comments, questions? All in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Yes, those opposed say no. That motion carries. Next is the unfinished business bid award on Florence Road project. Are you speaking on that, Matt? Yes.
So the village has received approval from MDOT to move forward with awarding the contract to the low bidder, Reef Riley. If you remember last time, the low bidder came in at $1,090,417.62. And we discovered working with Reef Riley that we greatly overestimated the amount of asphalt and other items that would be required to complete the project. So, we estimate that the project is gonna come in right around $895,000, which gives the village some options today and which direction we wanna go in. With every construction project, we recommend giving the village manager some sort of contingency amount above and beyond the actual contract amount. So that way it allows construction, especially underground construction involving, streets that have never been dug up in however many years, to keep moving, and gives the village manager some authority to approve change orders with the contractor. Usually we recommend somewhere between 5 and 10% of the project. So, we have a couple options today. Village can elect to award the whole construction project to Reeve Riley in the amount of $1,090,417.62, which gives a pretty big contingency amount to the village manager, Mark. Or the village can wait until Reeve Riley signs their change order and award a construction contract next board meeting for, right around $895,000 with no contingency amount. So as we start getting, through construction and items start getting over, or if we find something, we would then come back to the board for approval to proceed with that. Or, third option, village can meet in the middle somewhere and get a change order for right around $985,000, which is more than we believe the project's gonna take to complete, but it also will allow Mark some contingency dollars in case we find anything, we start digging up and finding these storm sewers, because we did our best guess to estimate based on what DPW staff believes went underground. But there are some items we know we're just gonna have to adjust and shift. I know I threw a lot of information at the village board just now. So if we can leave it open for discussion, you can award the contract now, you can have some discussion and award the contract at next board meeting. The contractor, F&B and Estates, in no hurry to award the contract, so it's up to the board to deliberate and ask questions if you have any, or let us know, what your thoughts are.
Couple of questions. If we don't have authority for the manager already approved, we have to kind of go meeting and do that, I would imagine. I would assume.
Yes.
That would slow down a project or interrupt it in the middle.
Yep.
Good. And what was your suggestion for a percentage in these cases for managers to give? Say 900,000 to keep it simple for me.
Yeah, I would go 10%.
10?
Yeah. So 90,000, so that gives us more than we believe we are going to need. It allows us to balance out contracts and make changes in the field as necessary as well.
How much is our grant for this?
$250,000.
So on that $895, the $250, we have to make up the difference from the $895, right?
Essentially, yeah.
Okay. $620, right?
I am certainly not comfortable with the contingency that goes to $1.1 million.
You could retire.
I think that, and rightly so, the council would probably second guess some of my decisions or my decision if there was a large bump. Would it be possible to hybrid that a little bit, say a 10% contingency, and anything that exceeds that 10%?
Yep.
You're a smart lady, yeah.
Well, that was his
That's what he said.
Yeah. village has a rare opportunity to do a deduction change order before the start of the project. So you can set a limit of how much contingency you want to give Mark right off the bat. It's a rare opportunity to save it.
Can we change the contingency amount later?
Yes, you can.
I have a question. Seeing how this isn't gonna be done until spring, correct?
Yep.
It's gonna be done in April or whatever. Riley should have plenty of time to discuss and study what needs to be done. I know they have other projects, but they should have enough time to really look at this project, hopefully.
Yes.
And figure out exactly what else. I mean, it won't be exactly, I know, there's always gonna be something, especially with the water. There's gotta be more
Yeah.
water drains and stuff put in and driveways, but that should all be kind of figured in, hopefully. So hopefully when the time comes, it should be pretty close.
Sounds like it depends on what they dig up.
That's gonna be the question. Is right there at the intersection of Florence and Industrial, we had a really old storm coming in and we were not 100% sure what goes where. And we're gonna figure it out when we dig up the road. And we don't, we don't wanna stop construction in the middle of it and wait for the board to make a decision on how to proceed forward. Especially if it's small items, let's say we have to reroute a pipe for, $600-700. Those are the kind of things we wanna just make decisions in the field, move forward, and authorize the village manager to add in any additional items that we can see, up to $1 point before the village says, hey, we need to talk about this.
I think a good idea would be 895,000 with like a 5% contingency, and then when we get to spring, if we need to bump it, we can. Cause that's still some, but it's not the max of what's
Right.
recommended.
I think that's a good idea.
That makes me a lot more comfortable.
Well, every time you dig something up, you find 18 other things. It always happens.
I have a question. What happens if a sewer line breaks with a new road?
After it's constructed,
Oh, during or after?
the contractor, when he put in his bid, the village has represented that the underground material is able to withstand the impact of construction, which is a fancy way of saying the village would be responsible for if something would break, unless the contractor was negligent or that there was something else happened that was outside of a normal construction project. It's very similar to if you go to, the mechanic to get your brakes checked, and the mechanic says, yeah, you need new brake pads, and they take up the tire and everything, and it turns out, your brake line is also rusted through and needs to replace that. That would be the responsibility of, in this case, the owner of the village.
So I'm assuming they'll put new piping
Yep.
through.
We are planning on replacing almost everything that we can.
And they realize how many trucks go down these roads for the
Yep.
weight.
Yep, we did traffic counts and measured trucks, annual and daily.
So you're saying the village will be responsible to fix any sewer lines that break after the construction?
Unless it's contractor negligence.
So they will fix it.
So they will fix it if they break it or if they do anything above and beyond, but because the condition of the pipes are unknown, we're assuming the water main is in good condition, we're assuming the sanitary sewer is in good condition. Almost all the storm is gonna be replaced, so.
Now, what about that big ditch that's out front there, where the water, that's where the industrial park, I'm assuming water flow is supposed to go, and then that big ditch out there, but I don't know if it really does or not. That might have to be.
We believe it does. Somehow it makes its way on into that big retention pond and then infiltrates a little bit and then flows out here at big events. That's what our belief is.
I'm gonna ask this question just to be, is there any way when they do that, that retention pond can be either lined with something or done something where all the trees aren't growing up in it? I know there's probably a lot of roots and everything in there, but it's been cleaned out a couple times, but it just keeps growing right back.
It is interesting because technically the retention basin is outside of the right of way, so it's not eligible to be worked on with the MDOT grant that we have. Because there's a lot of paperwork and specific requirements when you use the MDOT grant. It has to be within the road right of way. So
So a retention pond really isn't part of the water system?
it's not considered part of the roadway under this type of grant. Yeah.
Do we need anything decided on tonight, or do we wanna?
Well, before you answer that, so how much do we have saved to do this?
Jody's a better one to answer that question. What I can tell you is that our major road fund is healthy. Which is not to say it's
Well,
a bottomless.
my point is,
Well,
if we're spending $645,000 on the project and we have extra money, can we make it the road a little wider so they have somewhere to park? I mean, that's one of the biggest problems we have there. They park in the dirt and it's just, there's a ditch all the way down through
I
there.
don't want, my own opinion, I don't want trucks parking on that road. That's the.
But how can you stop them?
They're gonna have to, I'm going to have a conversation with the industry up there, where you have to try to find some alternative parking spot.
Okay, because every day they park there.
Oh, I know that.
I come down that road every day and I have to go around 3 or 4 trucks.
Sometimes we have 8, 10,
Yeah.
12 trucks parked there at one time, either on Cemetery or Florence or a
Right next to the
combination.
cemetery. Down the cemetery, there's lines down the cemetery.
So, no,
All right,
they just tear up the road that much more quickly. So,
Jody, is this report that we received, page 33, where it says street maintenance, is that where our revenue is at for the major street improvements?
What page on?
33, it's like 730,000 for capital improvement, is that it?
That's for the actual project. That's in the budget for that particular project.
Oh, okay, I see. That's what we have.
sure.
Personally, I understand the need to have the manager have some latitude, but I liked Jasmine's ideas on there. I think that reduced the amount of exposure.
So that's like 45,000?
Yeah, what did you say,
5%?
5%?
Yeah, could be about 45.
Anyone else have a comment? Question?
I make a motion, we have a 5% contingency for the village manager on the project.
Support.
So may I clarify that? So it's the 890,000 plus a 5% contingency.
So at the next village board meeting, you will see a recommendation of award with the contract. And the award for the contract has to be to the bid amount, but immediately awarding to the bid, you're gonna authorize a change order and bring that contract amount to 895, plus the 45,000.
Questions or comments? Okay, that wasn't a form of a motion. Properly seconded. we authorized the, the repair job in the amount of $895,000 plus a 5% contingency to be given to the manager for any emergencies or anything that comes up during the process. Any more comments or questions? Okay, call roll please.
Cartagena,
Yes.
Hewitt,
Yes.
King,
Yes.
Lawrence,
Yes.
Mathers G,
Yes.
Mathers M,
Yes.
Piper.
Yes.
Okay, that motion carries. And that being the entirety of our agenda tonight, we will adjourn at 7:41 p.m. Excuse me.
Can I make a comment, please? I have contacted Michigan Municipal League regarding, new council members. And I do have, a link to educational, virtual, or there's some in person. Plus, there is a handbook that I'm hoping to get.
It's here. The handbook is here.
Oh, it is?
Yes.
Just one?
7.
I got it. Okay, I got it.
And those meetings are good.
Yeah.
When I first got hired, I went over it and I know.
But I will send everybody the links also, so if you want to do the virtual one here.
Can the